Hey everyone, welcome to Friday night on the Homestead. Uh, just drop us back over here. I don't have the big fancy other stuff to feed in on it, and I'm skipping the other intro thing. So no real slides. And we're gonna get kind of into the meat of it with some hopefully helpful information. And everyone out on the side. Your input is going to be helpful too, especially if you have animals that deal with cold conditions on, and have to worry about them freezing or whatever, getting sick or whatever. So let's go over here to do a roll call here. Now I noticed that both StreamYard and YouTube has dropped off a couple of them. They're up there. I know. Dream XD was first. Uncle Al came in. Gear Grinding 19. CR Creative Redundancy. Writer Dust is here. And come on down. Lord Gardener Josh, the Lord of the Gourd. Thank you, Courtney, for crowning him Lord of the Gourd. Tasha at Prep For It's here. Everyone's chit-chatting back and forth there. C. Dean, hey, how's it going? And down, Idaho Garden Girl, hey. And Country Homestead Preacher, how you doing? Get that out of the way. Keeping a pop-up coming across there saying everybody else is going live. That's going live, so now I'm getting pops up notifying me that they're live. Trish Wiley's here. And everybody's talking. Carol, A Fishes and Love's Life. How you doing? Emma 3010. Shady Hill Homestead. Chipper 66. Hey, how you doing? And what else we got here? Who else is here? Okay, caught up. So I'm probably going to miss a few people as they come in, but I'm hoping that Audra from Homesteading in Idaho will join us because she has her goats and stuff and out there in the snow over there on that side of the state. So tonight, basically, what we're going to be talking about is keeping your livestock warm, and it's everything from rabbits, quail, pigeons, chickens, ducks, geese, goats, sheep, pigs, llamas, alpacas, cows, horses, whatever it is you have that stays outside. And some people have livestock guard dogs that stay outside. Them too. We're trying to keep them warm so A, they don't freeze to death. B, they just don't get sick and can't do what they're supposed to be doing. So with that, I'm going to jump back over here. All right, and we're going to drop the horses out of here, and I hope I have the right one. Nope, wrong one behind it. Wrong. There we go. Okay, so I've actually been looking at a lot of stuff for heating stuff up. When was it? Was it in 2020? My neighbor across the street, his brother-in-law was stopped. They had a pig farm and they were getting rid of everything. They're moving back into the town. And I got a bunch of stuff from him, including a couple of the propane heaters. These, look like a mortar one, So I got a couple of those, which he was using to keep his the pig sheds warm. But most recently, what has been irking me and my wife, how did I do this without offending anybody? Mm-hmm. Somebody across the street whose job it is to take care of the rabbits and the chickens and feed them because he wants special type of rabbits and stuff. Hey, Nina. Got Discover Sustainables just came in, and CB at Hugo Homestead. Anyways, my wife's been going over there checking on stuff, and in the last 2 weeks, 4 times she's found the chickens without water, or without food, rabbits without food, and the last couple times nights when it's frozen, their water is totally frozen. And she found out that evening before it got dark that it went over there. So the rabbits hadn't had anything to drink since the water froze during the night before.
Oof.
That's not good.
Hey, Kaylin. And so we're working on ways around it. One of the things, let's see if I got it here. Okay, so come on, get back over on it. This I went and ordered today to go because we got one of those big old metal watering cans that was my mom's, and she died in 2007 when she had chickens. So it's a heavy duty. It's at least 30 years old watering can, and it works perfect. And we gave it to them to my daughter to use to water the chickens and stuff. Well, you got to fill that up at least every 3 or 4 days. You should be checking on it every day because they kick crap into the trough and it gets all gummed up, and you got to lift it up and flush it out. Well, that thing's been either going empty or freezing. So I picked up this for it. It's 65 watts, and it has a temperature setting. Where's the temperature setting here on it? Trying to read where it was on it here. Oh, no, this one doesn't have the temperature setting, but I have one of the little plugs that has a thermostat on it so that when it hits 35, it turns on. When it hits 55, the air temperature turns off. So we got that to go under one of these pans like this, and hopefully it comes Tuesday. That'll alleviate the problem of it freezing, but we still don't know what to do. And I froze.
Freezing.
Yeah, with me freezing and the water freezing for the rabbits. The rabbits has those bottles with a little tube coming out and the ball in the end. They lick it and they get the water out. We're trying to figure out some way of keeping that from freezing as well. And if anybody in the side chat knows how to keep those rabbit bottles from freezing, put the answer in capital block letters for me. Okay.
They sell water heaters for those.
They do?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a spiral metal thing that goes around it, and it keeps it warm. They sell them at Tractor Supply.
Okay. Hickory Craft Farm just came in. Hey, how you doing? And Laura Hedgehog Homestead is here. And who else snuck in here when I wasn't looking? Just everybody talking back and forth. Okay. Okay, so now that goes on the plastic because the bottle's plastic. Those won't melt the plastic bottle, will they?
No. Mm-mm.
Perfect. I'll have to tell my wife about that.
Yeah, I forget what it is. It's like a spiral metal thing, and that bottle goes right down the center of it. Okay. And then you have to plug it in, and it keeps it toasty.
Now, one of the things that we found out, or we all found out because they told me about it, what's happening over there. My daughter had, let's see, I've got this lamp thing here on the far right here with the clamp on it. Mm-hmm. They had several of those in the out with the chickens and the turkey, and then they had one of these bulbs here in it. Guess what the stupid turkey did?
Knocked it over.
Broke it.
Pecked it and broke it.
Oh.
And the second one, they actually caught him pecking it and breaking it. Because, hey, it's bright. Ooh, I get to peck at something bright. It's like a moth to the flame, I guess. And then after he went to Thanksgiving dinner, they put another one out there, and some of the other chickens were flopping up at it, trying to peck it and knock it down. So but what we figured out was this thing here. These ceramic ones. Okay, basically, get it to open it. There we go. Boom, boom. So this is inside the coil here. Mm-hmm. It's like those old-fashioned coil metal heaters, we used to have when we were kids. Yeah. Well, that's inside there. So that just heats that up, and it radiates heat, but no light. so the chickens aren't and turkeys aren't, oh, I'm going to peck at it. And so I got her to get a couple of those, and they haven't had any problems with those working. So, you know, they work really good for all sorts of stuff. But yeah, amphibians but they work really good for the chickens too. And yeah, so that's one way they're helping keep the chickens out there warm. Problem is getting somebody who shall remain nameless to get off his lazy and go out there and check them when it's cold.
Yeah, typically you shouldn't need that. I mean, your birds are pretty resilient as long as you don't have like a cold breeze in there, you know, stuff like that. But you do have to be careful, especially if you're using straw or wood chips, because if a bird does peck at that, and that I mean, that'll burn your barn down. It happens every year.
Yeah. Well, this is the main place that they put this is over near the roosting boxes, because all the eggs were freezing and cracking.
Yeah, that's not good. That means it's super cold. Yeah, so I can understand that.
And so what my daughter has is she has one of those garden sheds, those 10 by 10 garden sheds. And the people that had the property before insulated the walls.
Yeah.
Cut a hole in it so the dog could go in and out. It was a big dog house, but they forgot to do the ceiling. You reach up and tink, 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 there's the metal roof.
Well, then all the heat's going to come out the top.
Right out the roof.
Yeah.
That don't make any sense.
So what we did last year after figuring this out, we had a bunch of bales of straw and we broke 4-inch leaves of off of it and just laid it like tile across the roof. Took a tarp, put a tarp over it, bungeed the tarp down, and then took a bunch of the pallets I picked up from the same guy I got all the cow panels and the pig heaters and stuff from, and we just stacked pallets all across on top of that so it wouldn't blow off. But what he had done, the guy I bought all the stuff from, he had on and building, barn thing, an overhang out about 10 feet and had chicken wire all around it. And what he did for his chickens, he just stacked straw against the chicken wire all the way up to the ceiling on the one end and out. So they had about 15 feet of straw on the one side and 10 feet on the other side. And they were kind of, to protect them from the wind and everything. And he broke open a bunch of bales, and they those chickens, he said were just happier as can be. They were just, they'd dig themselves a little nest in all that straw, and you have to go out there and carefully walk around, make sure you didn't step on any eggs and gather eggs, but it kept them nice and warm.
Yeah. We have insulation. Actually, one of our barn stalls is a chicken coop, so we put insulation up, and we will only run a heater if we know it's going to be like negative that night, because it's depending on what kind of birds you have. Some of them can, like if they have large combs and stuff, they can get frostbite. So
all right, I'm not seeing it here. All right, so these are all sorts of different lamps and stuff you can use to keep livestock warm, the smaller ones and stuff. Let me go back up to the top here, folks. Sorry for the speed. I'm going to put in thermo STA. That it's called plug, not pugged. Yeah, I'm fat fingered here, folks. I am hunting and pecking. I can type 300 words an hour.
An hour.
All right, let's see if it just comes up close to it. Okay, there we go, right here. This one here, the Frost King. I bought a couple of these for them and us, and so what this is, it plugs into the outlet on the other side. You plug with your whatever you want to turn on here, and it comes on it shuts off at 50 degrees. Come on, I think it comes on like at 35 or 36, and then shuts off at 50 degrees. So when it gets cold, the heat lamp comes on, the heat thing underneath the the water comes on, and that way you're not burning power all the time, but it only comes on when it gets down to that temperature.
Yeah, we have one of those in our greenhouse for the heat in the spring.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's and so that's, what is that? That's, how much is that? Oh, that's gone up. Oh man.
Yeah, they've went up quite a bit because I think we only paid like $9 or something.
I paid seven something for them last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, I'm going to check something here. This ought to be interesting. More product details. Oh, that one doesn't say where it's. Sometimes they'll. Oh, yeah, there it is. Country of origin. China.
Yep.
Oh, why it's so expensive? They're can't get them off the boats.
Yep.
All right. So for barns and stuff, if you don't want to run a gas line out there, natural gas line, or if you're don't have natural gas, they have some of these roof, the ones mount up in the near the ceiling, whatever, heaters, propane heaters. There's different types. There's the infrared ones here. This is natural gas, but they also make them for propane. These generally have a fan in them as well, and they can also have a thermostat, wall-mounted thermostat. When I bought the place in Martinez in California there back in '87, yeah, they had one out in the shop for the shop there, and it just had a plug-in wall. So you go out there, you plug it in, you turn on the thing, hit the little start button that it's down there for it. It would kick on, and it would heat the shop up. And when it got nice, toasty, warm, you go over there, you turn off the gas, and you unplug it. It's one of the safety things he had, and he didn't want to leave gas pressure to it all the time. But there's a lot of different ones. A radiant heater one. So there's a lot of ways you can keep things warm. But these big old Mr. Heater Maxes and stuff, propane unit. So they have them in different ways and stuff to set them up there. Now, one of the things, Kathy, North Star Prepsteaders in the house. Hey, Kathy. And Suburban Hillbillies here. One of the things that we used to do years ago, and everybody's probably going to go, oh, you use that? It's called the top hat heater. Have you heard of that, Bruce?
Doesn't sound familiar to me, but
when you probably see the picture, I see if I bring it up here. No, still not the right ones. Similar. I guess they don't want to sell them on Amazon, but they're around basically. Let me see if I can just bring it up here real quick here. And we used to use them all the time in construction and in farming. It's similar to it. So I can see bring up some images of it. It's propane. Yeah, there we go. Boom. And of course, it's not showing the top of it. Yeah, here we go. There's what it looks like. And the bottom is filled with diesel or kerosene. Mm. And this little side thing right here, it has a dial on it, so you can control the incoming vent. But it also has a cage inside there. So you take some newspaper, stick it in there, light it up, and let it just draw straight open. And as it starts to heat up the diesel or kerosene, then it starts going. And the warmer it gets, the louder it gets. And then all of a sudden, it just has a high pitch as it's going. And you shut this down to the right thing, and you can barely see some flame coming out the top, a nice blue flame. And, that will put out a ton of heat. So, Bruce, what do you think the drawback to that is?
Well, number one, you got an open flame in a barn, and you never want to have an open flame in a barn because barns typically burn to the ground before the fire department even gets the call. So, yeah, I'd say that would be a huge deficit.
Yeah. And you see some of the light in here coming out from the fire in it. It gets very hot. And if someone bumps that, that's hot diesel in there now. But back in the 80s, these were really big in California for cow barns, pig barns, construction built, warehouses and stuff. Yeah, they had these all over the place. And so, yeah. But now they replaced them with a propane version that's not quite so dangerous. And then, of course, you got the ones you can get at Sam's, Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco. The patio heaters, which run on propane. So there's a bunch of different type heaters here you can use for that. But you can see they got the more modern propane ones, and of course, these things here, which aren't too bad to have out in a barn where you have some sort of wire cage around it where the animals can't knock it over. But digs. But there's a bit of things you can do to keep your animals warm. Hey, Cecilia. But so now I'm going to pay attention to the side chat here for a minute. Guys, what is the best way to that you use to keep your animals from anything from quail, rabbits, chickens, cows, pigs, whatever, warm during the wintertime? And Hickory Croft Farm is in Ontario. So I know it gets cold up there.
That's right, Hickory Croft. That's right. Croft, I mean. I said livestock. Oh, wow. The chat jumped. The best way to consider keeping breeds or types of livestock that are well adapted to the environment you live in is cold tolerant or heat tolerant. Like most of the birds and stuff that you get, that's why a lot of people don't do research when they buy chickens, but do some research when you buy chickens to make sure that they're right for your area. You don't want to get a naked neck and live on Ontario, or something with a very large comb, stuff like that, because it's, they'll die.
CB, that might work if you had a good horse to throw it on the back of the horse, keep them warm. Hey, Cosmic Cultivators. All right. So, Idaho Garden Girl, how do you keep their water from freezing? See, that's the thing that around my daughter's having problems over there. The chicken water is freezing. The rabbit water is freezing.
Do you have access to electricity out that way or no? Gil?
Yeah, we have electricity in the chicken shed, and the rabbits is right up against the chickens.
Okay. Then you'll have to get heated water bottles for the rabbits, and then you want to use some kind of heat. We have 2 heaters that go actually in the water. And they keep it from freezing over. I mean, it's not like the water in the wintertime is completely unfrozen, but it's unfrozen enough the animals can go and take a drink. So,
all right. Okay, I'm just looking here. Did I miss actually, I didn't miss the comment going down. All right.
Yeah, you can do that too, Raider Dust. They have those dog pads or whatever they're called. And you can put or a heated dog bowl. They have those out too.
Yeah. They have the there it is. Kaylin said it. Yeah, it's like a super deep bowl, large dog bowl, and it's got the heating thing in it that has a thermostat. So when it gets down to a certain thing, it turns on, even though it's plugged in all the time.
Also, if you guys live in an area that it's super freezing all the time, we always put our water in those rubber bowls, those livestock bowls. That way, if the water does freeze, you can easily it's like popping in an ice cube tray, basically. The water just pops right out of them. But, we don't have that major issue now that we have the water heaters. They just go right in the water, and birds don't mess with them. So,
okay, let me check back here. I just was going off what you said. Just seeing what they showing here to come up with. All right, so this is what I typed in the things that came up with one of these things here.
Yeah, that's fine. There's other ones too, but that one, it works just as well.
Yeah, because they already have the thing. I was trying to find that spiral one you were talking about.
Yeah,
because they have some bottles like this thing here, 32-ounce bottle.
Yeah, I don't know if they sell that.
Let me see if I can change this thing around. Control X. There we go. See what that does. Comes up anything different?
Yeah,
no, that's all they have on Amazon. But we have the Tractor Supply is 12 miles to Blackfoot and another 13 beyond that. So it's about 25 miles south of us to the one. See, there's one of the dog bowls, pet bowls heaters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but there is up in Idaho Falls here, 15 miles away, a cow ranch thing. I have to get my daughter to go check it out next time she's up there, which will be tomorrow. I think she's heading up there tomorrow. Now, the one thing here is, and those are 40 and 25. Those are pre-done all things, but it's going to be, a bit of money for that. Water trough, TROU, trough heater. Now, several different types here. There's the ones that you stand like this, which I don't like. Then there's the ones like this, which I do like.
We have that one right there, the blue right here on the left. Yeah, that's what we have right there.
And so the cage around it keeps it from sitting on the bottom and melting through the bottom if it's a plastic tub. And that's just like this one does too. They have the heater element protected in these.
Mm-hmm.
And this what here is not this is the floating one. So this one floats and the heating element's just under the surface, but still cows and horses have been known to bump up against that when they're trying to drink. I don't see the other type that there we go. This type's been around forever. The one on the left here. And it's you only use this one in a metal or ceramic or like a bathtub ceramic trough. But yeah, you have big troughs. There's a bunch of different ways of heating it.
Yeah, if you purchase, I don't know about Amazon, but I know if you purchase it at Tractor Supply, you can get a like an insurance on it too. So if for some reason within the year it doesn't go right, you can bring it back and they give you your money back, or you can purchase another one.
Yeah, trade it out for a new one. This one died. You know the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, and of course, as you can see, there is no price on that one, Courtney. That you have, they're gone.
Yeah, those are probably one of the nicest ones. I couldn't think what they're called, but it is called a submersible or. Yeah,
so it's a submersible tank de-icer with attached guard. It's a 1500 watt. So that's for where it really gets cold. I've seen like this one here, this one on the far right here. This is a 250 watt one. So depending on how cold it gets in your area, you may only use a little bit just to keep the tank above, the water trough above freezing.
Yeah.
And so, all right, Dream XD, get a good night's sleep. can I put insulation around a barrel? Oh, okay. Here, got a question here. Boom. Can you put insulation around a barrel type water container that is over a heating pad?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't put the barrel on top of the heating pad. I wouldn't wrap the barrel with the heating pad and put insulation around it for a heating pad. However, there is the heat tape stuff that you can put on there, and some of that says to put insulation over it because it's a low wattage, and it has a built-in thermostat. So when it starts getting warm, it shuts off. It's not to put out a lot of energy, so it can melt the plastic. It just kind of warms things up and just does that. Heat tape. So let's look at heat tape.
Another thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure you're staying warm when you're going out there too, because if you have some type of issue, you get a cold injury or you get sick or something, going out and taking care of the animals all of a sudden becomes a chore. So you need to make sure you're thinking about yourself too, because you got to take care of the animals. If they don't have anybody to take care of them, you got a problem.
Cool. Good point. Yeah. So yeah. Which takes us back to the thumbnail for this video. The cows are fed. The guys all frozen, and Jack Nicholson's all frozen.
And actually, there's an easy way to do that too. If you don't have a really heavy coat and it's cold outside, anybody know what the people that are homeless do on the streets?
Newspaper stuff in their coats and stuff like that.
I thought you meant like sleep over the sewers. Sorry.
That's in New York City.
Downtown Cleveland.
Actually, what they'll do is they'll have like some type of shirt that will button all the way down to their wrist, and they will just get a newspaper that they find on the street. They'll crumple it up, and that actually creates a space where the air gets heated up by their own body heat and then provides warmth to them. A lot of people don't think about that, but people that don't have a home, when it's freezing outside, they know how to do that and they stay warm. You can do it inside of a tent too. Some type of situation where it was an emergency, you could put a lot of newspaper under you where you're going to be sleeping, put it around you, and it will, number one, keep the wind off of you. Number two, it will insulate you and bounce the heat back at you.
Yeah. Come on, brain, work. Raincoats, a heavy-duty yellow slicker raincoat. If anybody's ever wore one of those and tried to do any chores, you're like in a sauna suit. Because we worked in construction, and our bosses bought us a whole bunch of these things to wear out there working in the wintertime. And you start working around that thing, it's like, okay, I got to open this up. Got to cool off here, because there ain't no layering with that on. You put that on and it traps all the heat for some reason. It's just sort of like just boom, and you're just cooking those.
Yeah, and I don't even have any animals, Carol. That was pretty good, huh?
The one thing that all right, here's a specific question, people, for rabbits. My wife is worried about the way my daughter and son-in-law have the rabbit set up out there. They got a cage, 3 individual things for the rabbits, each one in its own thing, because Mr. Happy gets busy when he's with the 2 females. So
Can't imagine that.
Yeah, it's got a solid on the back, but the sides and front are all the cloth, the wire cloth.
Talking about
cloth,
the
machinist cloth or whatever
machinist
it's called.
cloth. Yeah.
Yeah. And the bottom is that too. So there's, what is the best ways to keep the rabbits warm? My wife went out there and took some straw and stuff, took a milk crate, put the milk crate in the middle, put the straw around it so they couldn't move the crate over to the edge, so they could climb up over into the next little cubby there and be happy with their friend.
Our boxes, our rabbit boxes, they have like they have two different areas. They have one where it's just like the hardware cloth, and then the other end is nothing but like straw. It's like, and then they can nestle in there. There's like a little hole in there, and then they can go in and nestle in that little area.
Hey, I got an idea. We could have Corky make some everything bread, and they'd have something to keep them warm.
Yeah.
That was from earlier today. I was just yanking her chain was all.
Yeah.
Telling my secrets, Bruce.
Yeah. No, Dustin told him, not me.
Now, the problem I see with using, from what I've read most of the ones I read to have the little thermostat, that thermostat's supposed to be up against a metal pipe, to be able to register the temperature properly. So I'm not sure about using one of these for producing heat anywhere other than on pipe, the water pipe going out there. Yeah, once the snow is here and it's piled up and helps block the wind, yeah, it'll work. But right now, snow comes and later that day it's gone, and then we have 19-degree weather, and the winds pick up, and so we're just kind of, my wife is really worried about those 3 rabbits.
Yeah, they should have thick fur and they should be okay. Yeah. But, I worry about my birds too. I mean, I want to put straw in their run and stuff like that. So, but I think that they're going to be fine. My turkeys are pretty resilient too. I mean, they slept in a tree today. So,
yeah. Yeah, the turkeys and the last batch of chicks they got this summer refused to go in the hen house at night. Mm-hmm. They were sleeping up they'd fly up on top of the fencing, the 8-foot tall fencing around the thing. They'd fly up there and roost up there at night, away from any critters or anything. And the wind's blowing, they're still up there, just just like, yeah.
Yeah, but, they like it.
once my daughter got the light to work inside, the turkeys were like, whoa, there's light down there. I better go check that out. They would not go in that hen house unless there's light on. Talk about turkeys.
Goofy. I'm never going to live the bread story down.
So what's this bread story? I missed it.
Oh, Lordy. It's Courtney's story. She should tell it.
Oh, it's all Bruce's
Although Dustin tells it much better.
I caught a loaf of bread on fire in my old house. And let's just say my husband had to come down and throw it in the backyard.
Yeah.
Well, my sister caught 2 loaves of bread on fire in the oven.
See, I'm not the only one.
No, you're not. There's a lot that get busy and don't have a loud timer, and a lot of kids running around. It goes ding, 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 and they're busy with the kids yelling at the kids, shut up, and 20 minutes later, it's like, what's burning?
Well, what the funniest part is Dustin came downstairs and he's looking in the kitchen, and number 1, there's black smoke rolling out of the oven, and number 2, he said there was like a 15-foot flame coming out. And of course, Corky had to say, it wasn't 15 foot, it was only like 3 foot. That was funny. You're getting a little red there again.
A little bit.
Yeah, I got to get making bread here. I got a bunch of flour that's been kept in the freezer in the refrigerator that I got last year because we were worried about them not having it in the store. Turns out the stores around here they were never out of bread ever. They just got a little low, but they weren't out of bread. So we got to.
I know in Pennsylvania, every time there was like a report of there was going to be more than 2 or 3 inches of snow, they would have to order like 5 extra truckloads of bread because everybody buy bread, lunch meat, soup, milk. There was one other thing they'd get. I can't remember what it was. Toilet paper, that's right.
Hey,
it would run out in the store. They'd say
Yeah.
it on the news, and the next day you go into the store and everything would be gone. And you're like, what the heck? That
Yeah.
surprised the hell out of me the first year I was there. It's like, what's going on here? Are they crazy?
Yeah. Well, I first noticed it back in 1971 for the Silmar earthquake in Southern California. We were living down there, and it was what's funny is 1971 when it first happened. The first hour, it's a 7.1 earthquake. It's a 7.0 earthquake. It's a 6.9. It's a 6.8. It's a 6.7. It's it's like, geez, guys, get it right. But yeah, the next day, no toilet paper anywhere in any of the stores. That was the only thing that disappeared. The first day was toilet paper. Then the next day, paper towels disappeared.
Hmm.
And then the day after that, they started getting more, other stuff started disappearing because people were, when the news reporting that the Interstate 5 was shut down because the overpasses all collapsed, pancake down on it, which it did again in the exact same spot in the Northridge earthquake. Those same overpasses did the same thing, pancaked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's like first thing disappears, toilet paper. In Northridge, in Loma Prieta earthquake, and the big wildfires in California, first thing disappears, toilet paper. I guess Californians just want to make sure they can wipe their. But and when it's going to be real bad on the Sierras get hit by big snowstorm coming in up by Lake Tahoe and stuff, same thing up there. First thing disappears, toilet paper. Water doesn't disappear fast because, hey, snow, we can just go out and melt snow. We got water. We don't have to worry about water. But, there's, and then hamburger meat disappears quick.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, back to keeping the animals warm. I know when I bought the place here, Brandon had an old grain silo, a short one. The sides are only up about 8, maybe 10 feet tall, and it's about 15, 20 feet across. Is all it is. And he poured concrete in it, set that on it, poured concrete out in the run for the pig, and that was his pig pen. And he had straw in there and stuff. But when he moved out in January of this year, still in the middle of winter, so I was going over just to check it out again. He had that much straw in the bottom in there still for the pigs to stay warm. I guess they just get in there, root around in it, and just all get together in a mass pile, and they keep warm in there, out of the wind and everything.
Yep.
And it's edible.
We're talking about toilet paper, Gil.
Oh, toilet paper. Okay. Hey, it's like my mom said after they started getting toilet paper back in stock. Where my dad was working at, they had these 30-gallon cardboard barrels, with a locking top on it, and he got a couple of those. And over the next year and a half, she stocked it full of toilet paper, just a little at a time when it was on sale. And she still had both those barrels when Loma Prieta earthquake hit in Northern California. We were living up there by then. And sure enough, everyone had to run on toilet paper. She's laughing. I got toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my brother with his 6 kids, Mom, I need to borrow some toilet paper. Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing, too. If the power is out, I guess the propane heaters, they got to be, even like I put it away, my Mr. Buddy. One of those, I guess you can put out there with the chickens. It has a hanger on the back of it, and, the slot, so you drive 2 nails and hang it on the wall. So that would, work out there for the chickens.
The only problem with that one is if you're going to use the fan in it, it takes, 6 or 8 D-cell batteries. Yeah. If it's that cold outside, you may actually crack those batteries and the fan won't work. However, just the radiant heat would probably be enough.
I didn't know mine had a fan in it.
Oh, are you old school? You got one of the old ones.
No, I just got one a couple years ago.
Oh, ours has a fan in it.
Oh, is yours the buddy or the big buddy?
Big buddy.
Ah, okay, that's
Takes
why I
the
just
two.
Mine's the really big buddy.
Is that what you call Dustin now?
I was thinking the same thing.
I think we're getting a little more rouge in her cheeks there.
So, those of you that had power outages where you had something, heat keeping, hey, gunslingers here. Where you've had the, something to keep the water for the animals from freezing. If you had one of the electric heaters or whatever, what did you guys do when the power went out? Anybody in the side chat run into that one?
I go to my mom's because she has a generator that lasts for 2 weeks. Turns on automatically when the power goes out.
Yeah, but what about your animals?
We'll get it from my mom's house. It'll be okay.
They'll just go over. It's like having a freezer. You'll just go over, pick them up by the feet, bring them in, hack them up, and cook them. Yeah. Then they're warm again, right?
Right.
Yeah. The heater that we had in the tent back, and I said, well, we can, but it was mid-size, only takes 1 green propane bottle. Yeah. I was just reading Kaylin's thing here. And I guess what would work, I just had a thought here. Ooh, brainstorm. If you have a small metal dog kennel or whatever, or a small rabbit hutch or whatever that you fit the buddy into, and that way you could set it near the metal water can for the chickens and stuff, it would keep that can warm. And you turn it down on its low setting, so it's just putting out just a little bit of heat and just keeping it going. And of course, most chicken sheds have how do I put this? Can't even pronounce the words now. Plethora of leaks. Plethora of leaks around it, so you got fresh air going in there all the time, so you don't have to worry about them getting carbon dioxide. All right, Cosmic Generators has a generator. Cosmic Cultivators has a generator.
Cosmic Generators. What were you thinking?
Yeah, Cosmic Generators. Sounds like I'm talking about Ben Davison and his space science.
Yeah, no, honestly, we'd probably, if we didn't have power for a few days, we'd have to go old school and just go out there every day and check on them, chip the water away. Probably have to fill the water a couple times a day. But, it sucks, but you have to do it.
My wife, Chris, she was going over there, taking the containers from here, filling with our hot water from our super hot water tank, going over there and, giving them, melting the ice and stuff over there for them. Power goes out. The biggest thing. Okay, hang on here. What's that? Power goes out. The biggest thing we need to keep running for the animals is the well pump. Yeah. Well, yeah. Unfortunately,
depends the size of your pump. If you need to have, 800 watts, that's a little different than if you just need to have a few hundred watts, because you can come up with that pretty easily. If you need 800 or 1500 kW, then you got a problem. You're talking a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, but the pumps, if the pump is a 220, it's probably on a 20 amp circuit. For a well pump, unless it's a really big one, deep one, it's on a 30 amp circuit. Unfortunately, when it comes to solar power, that sucks a lot of juice. However, they do make 12 volt submersible pumps, going in the wells for off-grid systems as well. And I know, Reed at Manifestations of Imagination has one of those. Red Poppy Ranch doesn't have a deep one, but he has a a 12-volt pump system for his system. Has the big tank he put up on the hill, and he pumps the water up to it, fills it up, and that way if the pump's not working for a couple days, he has water before he has to get fire up the generator and get stuff going if you lose his solar power.
Yeah, actually, this past winter when they had the snow down in Texas where they don't get snow, Mom and Dad lived down there, and I've been telling them for a couple of years, you need to have a generator because they're out in the middle of nowhere in Texas. And if the power goes out, you got a problem because the only water they have for their property comes from a well. It's like, yeah, you need to make sure you got something there. Well, guess what they have now? A Generac.
No,
Last year taught them their lesson.
Yeah.
Natural gas or propane?
The one that they got's natural gas because they have an actual well on the property.
Yeah.
So they're good to go.
Cool.
After they listen to me.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything that I can think of. Courtney, anything else you can think of, like with dealing with your chickens for heat, keep them warm or whatever?
Honestly, like unless it's super cold out there, like if it's in the negatives, your chickens are going to be able to heat themselves, and that should not be a problem. You shouldn't really actually even put heat on them unless it's super cold, because then they get used to that and they'll go out and they'll actually freeze to death. So you want them to get acclimated to the environment that they're living in.
So the big thing then is just keeping the water warm.
Yeah.
And if you have like little piglets or whatever around, they're pretty smart. They know not to lay next to mom, so mom rolls over on them. They'll like clump up in a little huddle and get together, and then we'll find the warmest place, and they'll just clump up and they'll keep themselves warm that way.
Yeah, a lot of people that have piglets, though, they do keep a heat lamp on them. More than likely, the piglets are not going to reach up and grab that, But yeah, they nestle in.
Natural gas is not LP gas. It's not liquid propane.
Natural gas is the ones like if you have a house that has a gas stove, typically it's natural gas is what comes in. Liquid propane is something that they get from the cracker plants when they get all the gas out of the earth, and they'll pump it over to a cracker plant and they'll break it apart into propane, liquid propane, all these different parts. Can't tell I was in Pennsylvania, can you?
Yeah.
No, you don't want them ingesting salt water. That would be like with us.
Pre-seasoned meat.
Not so much.
No. It's like anyone that goes to the ocean and drinks and starts drinking a little salt water out of the ocean.
It'll dehydrate you super fast.
Not only that, but if they drink too much of it, next thing you know, they're puking.
Yeah,
because it's the salt water being drank in a lot. Yeah, so if you have one of these type tanks sitting outside your house, that's propane.
Yeah, my mom wants a little fence around it because it's ugly.
Yeah. Well, actually, they actually are making them now that to be buried. So like if you have a driveway or whatever, you can get a vault put in there, and it's in there, and it has a cement cap piece that goes over it that you can still drive on. It has like a manhole cover. They pop it open and they reach out and they hook it up to fill it up. And yeah,
that's what we're gonna get eventually, because I want a gas stove. We have electric right now, but I want a gas stove really bad.
So let me.
It'll be years from now.
Yeah,
though.
see that they bury them. Sometimes they'll just put them out so they have a dome only on them, or under the drive. They have the ones under the driveway. Come on, it's not showing the good ones here. They actually had a bunch of brick. Here's one where they got the in the landscaping to put the under the landscaping, so it's not. See, they just come out and they just hook it up to it and fill it up. There we go. Here we go. Boom. That's how they hide it. under brickwork, nice and pretty.
My mom only uses hers when the power's out, so she's had a full tank for years now, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And that's the nice thing. If you get liquid propane, that stuff is never going to go bad on you. It's not like diesel or gasoline or anything like that, which you'll lose the octane and it'll lose its ability to operate the generator. With the LP ones, you can have a 500-gallon tank, and yeah, it'll be expensive to fill it the first time, but if you don't have to use it for 30 years, you don't have to replace it every year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things we're thinking about getting here is a propane tank here, so we can get a gas stove in here and possibly get a tankless propane water heater. Because right now the water heater has one of those mechanical timers on it.
Yeah.
So at 7 o'clock in the morning, when it goes to the higher rate, it turns the water heater off. Then at 10 o'clock at night, when it goes back to the cheap rate, it turns the water heater on. But yeah, there's a propane tank would be, especially if you have like a farm building or whatever else, something like that would be might be advantageous. It wouldn't have to be one big one like that. It could be one of these. Go back up here. It was on the other page.
They have the 100-pound tanks that are basically like twice as tall as the regular 20 or 40 pound
something
tanks.
like this one here. This is it's a fatty, but it's still 3 feet tall, but it's it's not skinny like the other ones. So there's a lot, something like this, like two or like this one here has 3 of them out there.
You're not sharing it, Gil.
Nope, not sharing it. Sorry. Sorry.
You were talking about it, and I'm like, I don't see nothing.
Yeah. So these things here these are the fatties, and they, like I said, they have them, and you can set them up where it has the automatic switcher. Well, this is not an automatic switcher, but they have one valve there that will run off of one, and when it runs empty, it switches over to the other one, and it has a little mechanical thing telling you this one's empty, and you get that one filled again.
Cosmic Cultivator said, "What fatty? Who are you talking to?" Oh Lord.
Yeah. See, these are because they're short, but they're about 50% wider than some of them, so they're not top heavy and fall over. They're easier to handle. So, yeah.
Can't have it on your deck. Oh, I'm sorry. You can put it on your deck. You just hide it with a bunch of plants. You'll be okay.
Yeah, you get the 30-gallon one.
Don't worry. If it blows up, nobody will ever know.
You would. Writer
Containers
does.
safe. Yeah, I'm reading that.
Yeah.
Now, inside the house, the only thing I would have inside the house is the little green ones. I wouldn't, I would be, the 5-gallon ones.
I got a 5-gallon on it with a sunflower on it in my old house. Keep warm.
Yeah, because I've had one of the 5-gallon ones. We refilled it, and the valve wouldn't shut down. The rubber went bad on it, and so it was like, okay, put a plug in it, got it home, take the plug out, hook it up to a hose that had the hose for the thing that had the shut off on it, and that way I could shut it off. But hose was under pressure the entire time. But
I think what Writer Dust is asking about is you hear about the levees that they have with propane tanks sometimes, like the big 500 or 1,000-gallon ones. The only time you really have to worry about that is if you have direct flame or heat that's directly hitting the tank. Because what it does is it boils up the liquid propane in there and pressurizes it. And that's when you have an issue. That's when a levee will happen where it'll explode and it goes out like a like a bomb you would see on History Channel or something. That's called a Blevy explosion. And I think that's what he was talking about.
Okay. Okay. All right. We're at the end of the hour here. So I'm just going to wrap this up and give you some heads up. So coming up on Tactical Tuesday on Gray Man Prepping, going to be talking about writing plans, because a lot of people have been questioning me about, how do you write a plan? How do you write your preparedness plan? What do you need to have in it? How do you go about it? So I told them, all right, fine. I'm going to do it on November 23rd on Gray Man Prepping at 10 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be writing plans. Next Friday here, I'm doing, we're going to talk about bread machines. And yes, you can still use, if you want to do certain, you cooking by, reset.
He's still thinking about Corky burning her bread.
If you can still use a bread machine without cooking in it. You can set it and let it do all the kneading and everything else, and then you take it out, and then you can break your loaves up, and you can do your mini pans or the big pan. So you can use a bread machine to prep it without cooking it, or you can go ahead and cook in it. But if you're doing like cinnamon bread or something like that, you don't want to do that in your bread machine because it makes it all nasty and sticky and hard to clean. So we'll talk about bread machines and stuff next Friday. Courtney, what do you have coming up here for next week?
Oh, Lord.
A lot, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so Sunday night, I am doing a members-only chat, Backwoods Law. And then it's my late show, then in my typical schedule, but then Monday night. And then Wednesday night, my interview is going to be with Yosi right before Thanksgiving. He's going to be cooking us up something good.
Okay.
So that's what we got going on.
Okay. And Bruce, you rested up enough to do a live next Friday?
Yeah, as long as I'm able to stay awake, the tryptophan and the turkey might be. I'm planning on doing it, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's the day after Thanksgiving. So I guess maybe I should do leftovers instead of ideas for Thanksgiving leftovers instead of that. So it may change up by next Friday. It may be doing leftovers and stuff, and I'll push the bread machines off later on. So in that case, next Friday, everybody bring your leftover recipes, and we'll share.
I've got a good one my wife does. I'll bring it.
Okay, cool. And so it doesn't take. Gunslinger is now poking you, Courtney. Doesn't take a lot of wood.
You're killing me.
Aren't you so happy you brought that up today?
Oh, Lord.
Turkey stuffing, Miracle Whip bread, turkey sandwich. And just like I've seen a lot of posts popping up again on Facebook, it has a little slice of pumpkin pie and a whole tub of whipped cream dumped on top of it.
Yes, that's what I have to watch out for when it's Thanksgiving. My wife just likes whipped cream just a little bit.
Hasn't been in the side chat tonight, has she?
No, she's probably sleeping out there on the couch. It's nice and warm in here, and it's cold outside. It's going down to the 20s tonight. So
it gets cold in Tennessee, huh?
Yeah, not that bad. That's not that cold. I consider it cold when it's -10 for 4 or 5 days in a row. That's cold.
Yeah, we're only getting down to 33 tonight. But, yeah. All righty, folks. So everyone out there, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish, and keep on prepping. And we will see you in one of our next videos or live streams.